Okay, so what's up, guys? So, how's it going? And I'm here doing a review about Frost Death Knights. So, the thing is that so many people are playing Frost now because of the buffs that it had. So, one of the new changes that was brought to Frost was this new PvP talent called Death's Cold Embrace. So, Pillar of Frost grants you Remorseless Winter and increases its damage by 750% and its radius by 150%. But your movement speed is heavily reduced for its duration, and it increases Pillar of Frost cooldown by 15 seconds. So, it's like every 1 minute you're able to use this new PvP talent because of Pillar of Frost. So yeah, and the thing is everyone that's playing Frost at this point has this talent, and it just seems that Frost is doing way better in comparison to DPS with Unholy now after the patch. All I've been seeing is like Frost Death Knights running around everywhere and using this new PvP talent, so it is pretty strong, and I will show you guys what it like can do in PvP. So yeah, and I just wanted to go over some of the new changes to different abilities before I do start showing how Frost Death Knights are doing in PvP. So yeah. Okay, so all of the changes and buffs that were done to Frost is all abilities had their damage increased by 5%, and Obliterate damage was increased by 20%, and Frost Strike's damage was increased by 15%. So actually what I feel like really needed a buff was Frost Strike way more than Obliterate, because that's what you're spending your runic power towards. So Frost Strike, like always, didn't do as much like damage as it should have actually done in season 1. And it's like abilities that you use to spend like energy or holy power or rage. Those abilities should actually do more damage than the abilities that generate whatever powers your class. So yeah. And Rhyme now increases the damage of Howling Blast by 275%, was 225%. Breath of Syndragosa's damage was increased by 10%. Then Veteran of the Third War now increases stamina by 12%, was 20%. And 6% in PvP combat, was 10%. So Death Knights have slightly less health now. And I mean, I would rather exchange all of that for DPS, to be honest. So yeah, no magic now reduces the magical damage you take by 5%, was 8%, and 3% in PvP combat, was 4%. Permafrost now generates an absorb shield at 30% of your auto attack damage, was 40%. Glacial Advance's visual has been updated. So pretty much these are all of the changes that have been done for Frost, and a lot of Death Knights are playing Frost again, and if you see how well they are doing in PvP, despite it being solo shuffles, blitz, battlegrounds or arenas, they really are doing crazy amounts of damage. It's just almost unreal. So yeah, I'll show you how much damage Frost is actually doing at this point, and yeah. Okay, so let's get into the PvP action. So last season I really did like a lot of things to make Frost work as best as I could, and it just fell behind so much in comparison with DPS to Unholy. Like with Frost, I made this macro and I've shown the macro for Frost like so many times, and so the thing is, if you've seen my shorts for Deathbringer, before Reaper's Mark would work in my macro, and then after some time, I guess Blizzard caught wind of it and then they hotfixed it. So Reaper's Mark does not work in the macro anymore, but you can use the macro and then Reaper's Mark lasts. So it's like you have to use it separately, and I will put the macro again like in the description. So yeah, here. Yeah, so that's the macro I've been using since season 1, and it was hotfixed, so you have to use Reaper's Mark separately after you use the macro. So yeah, the way that I see it with Death's Cold Embrace is you could chain everyone, chain all of your enemies, throw down D&D, and then Abomination Limb, or you could use Frostworm's Fury and then freeze everyone, and then you could use Death's Cold Embrace, because all of your like enemies will be crowd controlled and they will be slowed, so there like won't be really much movement from them getting away when you do use Pillar of Frost and then activate that Cold Embrace with it. So yeah. And this new PvP talent, it really is a game changer for the Frost Death Knights. And I can see like how much DPS this is going to do in Blitz. Like if you have battlegrounds like Silver Shard Mines or Temple of Kamogu, where it's more favored like towards melee classes, and then you have this PvP talent and all of the like enemies are close together because of like close quarter battlegrounds like Silver Shard Mines where you have to get in carts, or Temple of Kamogu where you have to be in the middle holding the orbs. So yeah, this is really doing so much damage. It's like almost unreal to me. Like, I usually throw some jokes around, but this time I'm just not joking about the amount of damage that this does. And I have always chose Frost spec over Unholy so many times, and it's almost unbelievable, like, what Frost is doing now. And I could say I'm pretty happy, like, about the changes. So, yeah, I'm going to be using Frost as my main for Season 2 after seeing what it can do, like, after the patch. So, yeah, guys, I'm not even joking about the damage that it's doing. So, pretty much. And, well, for Death Knights, either you play Unholy or Frost, you're going to need, like, Mastery as your main stat, because it increases the damage of your Frost abilities, or it increases your Frost damage done, so yeah. And the reason why I always preferred and chose Frost is because it's the damage done, like, by the Death Knight itself. It's not done by the pets. So pretty much this spec is not like pet reliant, to where you have to have your pets to, like, do some damage. So yeah, Frostback is really at a great position at this point. So I really hope that it stays this way until Season 2 starts. And I really hope they don't do any more changes or nerfs like they did to Unholy. So the thing with Unholy was, at the start of the War Within, they nerfed the dot damage that Unholy did by, like, a huge amount. So yeah, at the start of the expansion, Unholy was the preferred spec, and it really did do the most DPS in, like, shuffles and blitz. So now it just seems it is time for Frostback to take over, and I really do like how it is now. Like, with this spec, in Season 1, I made macros, I did different builds, I tested different things, because I always preferred, like, this spec other than Unholy. I really did. This spec was, like, always my favorite. So yeah, this is the amount of damage that Frost is doing at this point, and it's really going good. So yeah, so test this out for yourselves and just see how it is. So yeah, thanks for watching, and later.